And we're back.
Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome
Hello.
back. Okay, I am just finishing the edit that I had to make on the fly on our poll, which gives me a good place to start here.
Because we accidentally did the poll.
Yeah. Well, it'll become evident to the audience how that works
correct choice.
shortly. You made the choice for the audience before they got a chance to.
Good.
Okay. So I'm going to pick up. We left our heroes relaxing for a while they wait for the satyr Puckelzog, who turned out to be the real name of the servant of Otto Thriftwick. And while you're waiting around, just a few little bits and notes. First of all, I want to point out for the player's perspective, because the audience who is here already knows that whole side situation with Tromlin was in fact chosen by the audience. The poll in question was, what has Tromlin been up to while this is going on? And the choices were searching for a flower, a rare flower, brewing a poison, and pleasuring the dark fae. And you can guess which one the audience chose now.
I mean, that one's kind of loaded. They're pretty obvious where they're going to go on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't win by a lot.
Oh, really?
You never know. People have their own choices. We try to make them all seem interesting.
Pleasuring the dark fae is very.
You've been complaining
like,
about your,
well,
your dry spell
yeah.
for so long.
Yeah, I think people decided they had to throw Tromlin a bone
Shut
a bit
up.
early.
Or somebody else a bone.
A bone was thrown.
The best part is we both have head racks because she has antlers and I have.
Sounds risky.
You got
You gotta be
Yeah.
careful.
Got
with
handholds.
You got to be careful with your
Handholds on that.
positions, or else you get locked. It's like no
Mhm.
good, no good.
Bad way to go.
Yeah.
So now, in the meantime, while you guys are all getting a rest in,
That's what they call an Arcadian tangle.
I can. While you're all getting a rest in, I can spend a little Fetid spend a little quality time with his digestive system.
Nice.
So there's a point while you're kind of getting in some rest after you do your little fishing with Copernicus, and you're just kind of like lazing around with your full stomach, nursing your food baby while Cromlin prepares some kind of tasty fish stew. You feel like you hear a voice, like very distantly, like it's coming from very far, far away through the woods. Like at first you kind of look around because you think it's someone like off in the trees calling to you, but you can't figure out what direction it's coming from, which is weird because you're a ranger. So you do a little bit of like, where's that coming from? And the voice is like distantly calling your name. Like you could hear your, Fetid.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a
wouldn't be the
woman's
first time
voice.
something I ate did this. So
Yeah.
May I roll perception to see if I notice? Especially 'cause I may have
you
noticed
cannot,
symptoms
and you
before.
don't.
Oh, okay.
Because
I don't mean the
this
voice.
voice.
I notice Fettis.
Oh, notice Fetid reacting
I've
strangely.
been around this, and I also am.
You know the
prone to imagine
signs.
this. Yeah.
I'll let you know when I'm calling for it, because there'll be a little bit more going on, and maybe that'll be something that catches through. At this point, it's just like it's just like if I'm gonna, this for you dog owners, it's just like the dog kind of suddenly sitting up and kind of looking at in a particular direction, and then must have been nothing, going back down. So nothing that draws too much attention yet.
Okay.
From Copernicus. That kind of like, it's very, very faint, and like it's so quiet, like at times you're not even sure what the words are. Just this distant musical voice far, far away saying things. Occasionally you catch your name. And then at one point, you hear a very distinct, like you're sort of like, groaning a little bit over the stomach. There's a little bit of grumbling. Nothing like unusual for you. There's movement going on in there.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's a lot of rations that were going in. Something's going to be coming out soon. So you're just kind of the usual
Riding it out.
motility sounds.
Yeah.
And suddenly, from your stomach, it seems like you hear a voice basically say, "Where are you? Report." And that one I'll get a perception check from Copernicus on. I'm going to say Tromlin and Ugnar are a little bit busy dealing with the food a little ways away, but Copernicus is going to be nearby enough that I'm going to give you a perception check on that.
I'm keeping an eye on Shaylin, not on Fetid's butt.
Yep.
I am worried about Fetid's butt, though.
I mean, you probably always should be.
All right-thinking beings should be worried about. If you're in the proximity, it's something worth worrying about.
It's like having a small nuclear weapon.
I got my first roll above a 10 so far this session, so I just want to celebrate
Oh.
that.
Well done.
Congratulations.
I got a 16.
That'll do. You caught like the creepy magical voice and that immediately makes you think, distant creepy voice coming through an artifact that's just, like a Tuesday for you.
Yeah.
You're just not used to that noise, that kind of a noise coming from the bowels of a kobold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is probably the Warlock patron equivalent of like the guard hasn't checked in on the walkie-talkie and the guard got knocked out and now they're like, report in.
Yeah, now this is where you want to like put your head close to Fetid's butt and go, "We're all fine here. How are you?"
I looked up from the pot to see that and go, nope.
Not getting involved, no.
I'm gonna say, you heard that too?
Yeah,
How
it's not the first time something I've eaten has talked to me, but usually they're not asking me to report in about something.
I think we might be hearing from the other end of whatever dark forces Shaylin has been in league with, and they are asking for a report.
Well, they're going to be hearing from my other end in about 4 hours.
I think we should haste ourselves back to camp and discuss what to do.
Or discussed what to do.
I mean, so I assume that you need to like touch the amulet to be able to communicate with it. Is technically Fetid's a magic user and is touching the amulet. Could Fetid attempt to speak back via the stomach?
I mean, it would probably be muffled, but I bet it would work.
Without even making an arcana check, this is the kind of an artifact that would require attunement. So if having it in his stomach would fulfill the requirements for him to start attuning it to himself.
Yeah.
If he wishes to make use of this item.
Can I identify
intimately connected to the item in some way?
I would normally say no, but I did let you look through him with ghostly gaze, and you had a rest, so you can use ghostly gaze again.
And I imagine, Fetid, how's your gag reflex?
What gag reflex?
Perfect.
Like,
can I reach in?
Kobolds don't have them. That's how
What is a gag reflex?
Yeah, like.
Can I reach in and just? Like,
oh yeah, no. By all means, fist my throat.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Identify on it, and I'd like to reach in. I'm gonna just tell the group what we're doing first. We'll come back.
Let's explain it to them before they come.
No, please don't. No, please don't.
First of all, you're going to cast Identify. You do the ritual.
Ritual version, yeah.
You're going to use your ghostly gaze so you can actually see it. And
I'm going to try and make contact physically.
Do you have to touch it to do Identify? Or is this for another reason you want to touch it?
Perny's going to say yes, whether or not it's true. Perny wants some alone time with the evil amulet.
Hey.
Or as alone as you can be while you're inside a kobold.
So yeah, ghostly gaze. You activate. You can see the item through him, and you can do your ritual and cast Identify.
Before I do so, I'll tell you. I'm just gonna have a little look-see in Fetid, see how we're doing with the amulet thing. It was talking to him. It sounds like whatever Shaylin was in contact with is now trying to ask for a reply and is not aware that it's inside a gizzard. So I'm just gonna give it a little look-see, and we'll see what we've got on our
Oh,
hands here.
like a magical look-see, like ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
magical.
It's certainly going to look like magic.
Going to make my
So-
whole forearm disappear.
And you'll get it back. Unless I sneeze.
Now, this is interesting. So you are going to reach in there. As you're using Ghostly Gaze, you're looking in and seeing all the detritus that are in there. And
Shake hands
My
with the
hand escapes.
yeah, I was just going to say, there's like an undead thing in there.
Just to have the weirdest handshake.
hmm
Fist bump of the damn.
It does the little palm tickle.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of like go, shake hands. You're going to immediately take 13 necrotic damage.
Ooh.
And temporary penalties come with that aren't going to be relevant because you're not really in combat. And you sort of jerk your hand back, and the hand comes with you, or comes with it, and then it immediately is going to, like, as soon as it's free from kobold surroundings, it's going to shake itself free from your handshake and scuttle off into the woods as fast as it can.
Okay.
And
So
Fetid,
sorry.
that is like,
Was that your
Yeah.
pet?
Not really a pet. That was dinner, like, when I was 8. So quite some time ago.
kind of like a
I
tapeworm.
thought it was dead. I guess not.
And then you've got some like weird, creepy penalties. I think it gives you like attribute penalties or something for a while. Anyway, not relevant
Just have
because
the heebie-jeebies.
it's not relevant because it'll pass before you guys have any sort of combat encounter for it to matter. So just take that story-wise, and then you can go back in and start feeling around for the amulet again.
Alrighty, and here we go again.
I am going to now start the next poll, so I will ask the players to
Not look at the chat.
temporarily vacate the chat.
And just in case the amulet does take possession of me or something, our safe word will be elbow deep. And if I say that, try to make sure that you hold on to the amulet and it doesn't come up with me, just in
Okay.
case.
Okay.
I like that they have a
Just
safe
give
word
me
for
a
this.
second.
I'm making breakfast.
Yep.
Not.
I'm checking on last night's dinner.
I
And
also
last
imagine
week's.
that like Fetid's jaw makes that like garbage noise when it opens. It's like.
Yep. Absolutely.
You step on his tail and it just opens.
Yep.
Okay, the poll has begun. Participants in the chat, you have 10 minutes to vote in the poll. Hopefully everyone realizes now that I had to edit this poll because originally there was an option on it that is probably obvious to you all. But in the meantime, go ahead and throw in your votes. As usual, you can put in extra bits or channel points for extra votes as you choose. So while that is counting down and we'll get some votes, I will come back to the rest of y'all. So your identify spell, first of all, is going to identify this as what would be an equivalent of a rare artifact, basically a one-of-a-kind item.
Ooh.
So it doesn't have like a magical item name.
Mhm.
It would be an amulet of the Raven Queen. Basically a magic item so dedicated. It is of divine magic type.
Oh.
So you suspect that it is a focus basically for divine magic. In other words, the powers that it granted to Shaylin were powers granted to Shaylin by the Raven Queen.
Mhm.
So you suspect that a certain degree of devotion would be required to attune this to oneself, and the power would likely scale with that. So in other words, the more devoted the follower, the more you're very familiar with this type of stuff because, for example, sacrifices made in the name of the entity to which the thing is dedicated would be ways to increase the power that it has. But you also recognize the sorceress origin of this item, so that the power is divine, but this was definitely made through warlock magic. So it's not like an artificer device. It's something that was made through pact magic.
What do I think is the likelihood of this thing being able to like possess or influence someone, especially like fetid? Am I worried about this doing anything while it's inside him?
I mean, there's definitely a possibility, but it would involve. So there's two issues. One is the warlock who made this is definitely not Shaylin. You know Shaylin's not using warlock magic here. So somebody else made this, and you're now thinking, okay, well, there was a warlock. Come on, what's the
At
word?
the bandit camp?
Nope. Pet. Nope, that's the wrong word.
Familiar.
Oh,
Familiar.
familiar.
Familiar. Thank you. My brain was like F word that I'm not going to give you. There was a warlock familiar that was clearly hanging out with Shaylin Tark, the
Yeah.
Raven, and there is this warlock artifact that Shaylin had in her possession. You're guessing probably the same warlock
Mhm.
is involved with both of these items.
Okay, so we've gotten rid of 2 of the warlock's agents.
So there's the issue that the maker of this may have some ability to influence through it or the magic that it does or something. But the other side of it is that it was granting divine magic to the wielder,
Mhm.
and that wouldn't really make sense for that to be like, if Fetid decided he was going to dedicate some kind of service to the Raven Queen, then that power would likely come through. Which maybe he is. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know what Fetid does in his free
Alright,
time.
guys, I've decided to become the villain.
I've decided to become into the Raven Queen. Well, the Raven Queen isn't like necessarily, bad. They're all of these Fey lords are kind of bad, good, bad. I'm the Fey with the gun.
Yeah.
Antlers.
One agenda getting unchecked by the other
Fade with the
agendas.
voodoo?
Yeah. So the point being that you're not like there is potentially some. If someone stole, for example, your ritual dagger,
Mhm.
which is an attuned item to you, or someone, or more likely, someone took it and you sort of like let them have it, but then knowing that you would use it to some, like you would be the one still attuned to it and using the magic in some way. There'd be some things you could do through it, but mainly that person would still just be able to use it as a magic knife that does like extra damage and has various magic powers about it. So it's kind of like that.
Okay.
There is some degree of worry that the warlock who made this thing could use it to do stuff, whether that be to try and like scry on its location. Like certainly an item like that would be a thing you're familiar with. So if you're using like a scrying magic, totally a good anchor for that. And you know of more advanced magics that can be channeled through things in that way. So there's a possibility, but that doesn't seem to be kind of like the primary thing that was going on with Shaylin Tark here. This was something that was a dedicated, like Shaylin was clearly not necessarily worshiping, but serving
Yeah.
the Raven Queen and gaining powers from this item in the
Okay.
process.
So
That's your diagnosis here.
Yeah. And so I'll explain all this to the group. And the things that I'm going to emphasize are, whoever created this likely a warlock. Not that I would know anything about what that is. They might be able to exert some influence on Fetid through it. They might be able to. It's possible they could try and spy on us through it. Although right now they'll just have a view of the small intestine. And it is important to know that while perhaps you can be manipulated through it, Shaylin was a willing servant, and we need to remember that when we interrogate her, that whatever she says, she signed on for this, and this was the source of a lot of power for her. We should proceed carefully, and maybe, Fetid, we can just do a little check-in every now and then to see how you're feeling, and if you are having any Raven worshipping thoughts, you know.
I sigh sadly, and I pull aside one of the pots I don't use very often. I'm like, when it's time, use this, so we can find it.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna
We're
throw that
buying a
out
new one in
afterwards.
town.
You'll have to throw that
We're
one out.
buying a new one.
Mm-mm.
Well,
It
it'll
is-
like corrode the enamel right off it.
Yeah. Some things you don't get out of cast iron, and cobalt poop is one of them. So you know,
Yeah.
cobalt poop and Raven Queen. Those gonna mess your plates up.
Yeah, you just want to throw that right out afterwards.
Now, I could extract it now if we want, but it seems like you liked swallowing it and you want to let things. I don't want to interfere. If you'd like it to just run its course.
It also sounds like stuff.
Honestly, it was more of a funny thing to do in the heat of the moment. I don't feel super attached to it. So if you want to just reach in there and yank it out, that's fine.
All right then, we'll just hold still.
Yep.
I pictured that entire conversation happening without the removal of the arm. Like you said, you already put it in. I just was like, you're just like, well, what do you want me to do? I'll just go ahead, boy.
It's like when the dentist asks you a question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes the warlock that's rummaging through the magic items in your stomach asks you a question, and
You just kind of have to work with it.
Yep.
this is a very specialized stand-up comedy routine.
Yeah.
Gen Con 2022. Come watch.
Only do this once.
We have a year to make that cobalt puppet.
Yeah, if it had been 3 hours later, I would have.
Nikki Naki to make one for us.
Oh, hell yeah.
As an aside, I was going to ask the group if we wanted to put in an event submission
For Gen Con?
for next year's Gen Con, because
Hell
we
yeah.
can do so until April.
As long as it's after hours, we're not at the booth.
Put in a submission for a live show.
Hell yeah.
So if anybody watching is likely to be at Gen Con 2022, we might do a live version of this show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Such a web cartoonist, tired, exhausted, screaming at dice,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
consuming questionable substances before the game.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, I'm gonna get a medicine roll, from Copernicus.
Hey, I got some stuff in that.
Yeah, and I'm
totally
gonna give you
improvising.
advantage because you're working with a physiology that is very well controlled by its owner, and he is assisting you, so you
Yes.
get advantage on the medicine.
This is all consensual, which makes it a lot
Patient
easier.
is gonna aid you through additional mucus production.
23.
Excellent. You manage to not avoid all damage from stomach acid, but you manage to only take 3 points as you extract this object.
I can only imagine that his stomach acid is like worse than a vulture's. Like,
Yeah.
you drop a bone in there and it's
definitely.
gone.
I've taken more damage from Fetid's stomach than I have from Shaylin's arrows.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That checks out.
I can see that the poll has ended. Excellent.
And,
That is all I needed to know.
In goofy grandpa fashion, I'm gonna pretend that I'm like pulling up a big fish, like, oh, it's a big one!
I'm gonna play along too. I'm gonna like start pretending to struggle a lot and flailing my arms.
It reminds me of those times you were a kid and you had that one uncle who's like, "Oh, what's behind your ear?"
God,
Oh,
that is
lich phylactery. Ooh.
that is begging to be a lar drawing of like Copernicus elbow deep in bed as he's like doing a little, oh, look at me struggling.
Ogun
I am
is
going
sitting
to
over
go
by
my-
Shaylin, like
That's hilarious.
just watching this
If you
all
went up the
happen with
other end,
this
we could do a
like
puppet show.
confused expression.
I'm going to heal my grandfather a little bit.
Excellent, worth doing. Yeah, you can kind of see his like the steaming acid coming on his arm as he pulls it out.
I got max. I guess that's 12.
Nice,
Nice,
12 hit
thank you.
points.
Oh, and my god for the day is number 10.
Oh, excellent. Good to know. I'm gonna go
Unless
quickly look that up.
unless there's a certain god who's overriding that.
No, it's you get to decide who you're going to. So, just need to get the right folder. No, that is the wrong folder.
Folder of gads.
Gads.
Got a mission from Gad.
There it is. There is a Pantheon folder with all the different kind of important information regarding gods, and that is where the Tromlin god list is. Oh, wonderful! You've got the monkey god,
Ooh.
Song Wukan, the Zaruvian god of adventure, misadventure, insight, and dumb luck. This is effectively the monkey god, and all of his tales are tales of his ridiculous comedic exploits throughout the jungles of the south.
I'm really glad that's not who I rolled before the fucking thing happened.
I mean, you had exploits down south.
Yes, yes, you did.
Correct.
At least it wasn't in the deep south. If I don't even know what that means. Okay. Any other exploits that need to occur before I move on to Pucklezog showing up?
What do we want to do with this for now?
Assuming this is after you rinse the acid off of it and yourself.
Yeah, I'll give it a shake.
I would say we should wrap it in something and
Yeah.
close it in a box.
Like, you know about magic stuff, right? So maybe you should hold on to it.
Yes, let me hold on to the object of great power.
I'm sure that's totally fine.
I think this is
I
a
squint.
wonderful idea.
I squint at my granddad. Like, you know why I'm a little hesitant on this.
I could guess.
Hand out.
Okay.
I will put it in like a box, wrap it in cloth, so and just put my holy symbol in there with it.
One of your holy symbols?
It's like, keep
I
it
will put the one
restrained.
for the god of the day, who I am attached
Okay.
to,
For sure.
and close it there.
Good old Song Wukan.
Yep, and put it in my backpack.
Excellent. That is an excellent thing to do with a dangerous artifact, is to put the a trickster god's.
Yeah, I didn't
Only
say I
someone
was
Yep.
smart.
Trust-
I mean,
And
you don't
trust
have any
the
other
trickster gods
options,
to take care of
so...
Yeah, remember,
It's all
we're relying on dumb luck here, not smart luck.
Indeed. Okay, so you feed yourselves and otherwise rest and recuperate after you do these various things. And eventually, out of the mists of the dawn appears the little old servant. Those of you who've encountered him before, Copernicus and Fetid, you recognize him, except it's basically exactly the same guy. He's got his little black, very incongruous out of the woods here, but he's got his little black suit with the little kind of bow tie and the tails. And he's got his balding pate and his white hair. But the big difference is that he has great big ram's horns that curl up out of his head.
I immediately draw my dagger.
No.
Just
that
kidding.
is our-
It's fine. We're joking. We're kidding.
I
This
would
time.
like to apologize for terrorizing you in a moment of particularly heightened grief in a space where you thought yourself safe. In hindsight, it was ill-advised, and by way of apology and in recognition of Fey customs, I would like to give you a gift of a hard candy. I assume all is forgiven now.
Oh, he's an old guy. He's like, oh, hard candy. But he'll also he'll be a little confused. I remember the kobold. I don't recall you.
I was the floating smile of blood.
Oh, an interesting trick.
Thank you. Just a little prank gone wrong.
Oh yeah,
I
and I'm
will
sorry if
offer-
I scared you too. I can be really scary sometimes, but I don't mean to. So if you got really scared, I'm sorry.
I don't recall you. Well, I knew there was a large creature chasing me. Perhaps that was you.
Maybe.
I will
Oh
offer.
my goodness! And he looks over by the fire. You've captured their leader?
Oh
Yes.
yes, yeah, that was us.
However, she might have someone in charge of her.
Hmm.
Well,
Um,
no doubt. Of course.
if this is Pucklezog, I will open the box and remove my holy symbol and show him the amulet of the Raven Queen.
What is this?
It is what was giving her these sort of magic powers. According to my granddad, it might be connected to another warlock. To a warlock?
Mm,
And Pucklezog, what do you know of Shaylin's activities, and if they were in any way connected with Otto's
Oh
or his
no,
death?
no. Perhaps his death. He certainly was targeted by the Raven cult. They have been, well, perhaps I'll start at the beginning. The, there are, I'm sure you're aware, I'm sure your friend, he nods at Tromlin, has told you of the ancient conflicts within the courts of the Fae. And the oldest of these, you must all know of the wars of the seasons, and the two great courts, and the court of life, the spring and the summer. They take precedence in the fall and the winter. The courts of death and night do the same, and those that I serve the courts of light and life. And the Raven Queen kind of looks at the amulet with a bit of a shudder. Very much one of the lords of the night, and so the well, I don't want to give any away anything that anyone would be upset with me for, but so I won't say any names, but there are those who have done good work to oppose the courts of night, and I, as their servant, have done so by, well, maybe steering certain things in certain ways, and young Otto was uh, an important man in this area, and he was used in such a way, not to his detriment, but it is likely that that is why they killed him.
That's
The
like detriment.
but the services that he unwittingly provided to the courts of light were services for which he was very well compensated.
Hmm.
His successes very much are owed to the Horned King and others in roundabout ways. But uh, he and others like him were simply on one side of this conflict. The Raven cults very much are creatures of the Raven Queen, and they are very much on the other side of this conflict. There are several ways in which they have been growing in power, and one of which is attempts like this to assassinate agents of the other courts, their opposing courts, like Otto. I was to protect him, and I failed. But in addition, there is this matter with this young power-hungry bandit lass here, and the attempts to gain power over the north through the other sorts of conflicts. I don't know much about these barbarians that you told me of. He nods at Tromlin. But I do know her, and she was a local thief who found a way, clearly, through that, or in those who made it, he gestures at the amulet, to gain power. And that power was clearly political. And she was able to have control of this army, or whatever you call it.
Huh.
And what do you know of Edric of Ravenfall and his part in all this?
I've heard of him. He is a rival merchant to young Thriftwick. He'll sort of do like a little like he's not, obviously it's not Christian, but he'll do like a little like symbol every time he says Otto's name, sort of a little gesture of like, oh, God rest his soul, kind of thing. Whatever
The
the
holy
what's
wrap
the
around him.
what's the D&D version of that? I don't know. And he'll say, Edric had thwarted many of Otto's business ventures in Ravenfall. I strongly suspected him to be influenced by, at the very least, the Raven cult. Why? What have you heard?
I had a word with your master after his passing. A very brief word, and he suspected Edric of having been responsible for his
Oh,
death,
of
or
course,
his
that
enemy.
makes sense. He would think that he didn't know he was serving the Fae or working for their interests. So he did not know about the Raven cult. He probably would assume that Edric, his greatest rival, was behind it. And he may be somewhat right, because if as I suspect, Edric is influenced by the Raven cult, then it's the same source. But it was certainly the cultists who killed him, and certainly because he had become too great of a impediment to the courts of light, or the courts of night.
And
Light night, it sounds similar.
and if you had to guess who the warlock who might have made this amulet, who that might be, who would you guess? Do you know if Edric has
Oh,
magical?
it not Edric himself for certain. He's a pawn,
Hmm.
a merchant who is, I mean, as far as I know, maybe he's a member of the cult, but he wouldn't be important enough to be running things. I do not know who is. I know that the cult has gained in strength recently. I'll just remind you out of character that you had already determined from your previous talks with Dan Galf and your own Arcana roll, which I realize was like months ago now, that the Raven cult in Ravenfall has been there like forever, and they kind of rise and fall in their fortunes. And recently, they've become a lot more powerful. Um, and Pucklezog will basically sort of back that up and basically say, well,
Cool.
I don't know who it is, but someone's kind of taking the reins out there. And that's and whoever that is going to be some kind of powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a powerful warlock,
Oh,
because that's like a great way to get direct power from a powerful, the Raven Queen, right?
you're a magic guy, right?
I mean, I have magic in the blood. It's sort of our blessing and our curse. He sort of nods at Tromlin.
That's so funny. I have blood in the magic.
Well, like, cause we
You're the
got
one who put the magic in the
in the
blood.
blood.
You got your blood in my magic. You got your magic in my blood.
It's delicious.
Because we got a thing that was like part of this warlock or something. It was like the friend, the familiar. We got it trapped, and I don't know if there's a way to figure out who it belongs to.
I'm not that. I'm not that versed in that type of magic, but
Oh, okay.
you
So we got to go talk to Dan then. Like nudge Trump.
keep a hold of it. I am a servant of the Fae. I am not a powerful wizard or warlock or sorcerer or anything like that. My job is mainly to help where I can when I receive not orders, but I come out into the woods and can commune with these circles and with the Lords of Light. The Horned Lord is my patron. The Horned King.
Awesome.
Do you know how we'd get the bandits to like go home and leave us alone? All the barbarians from the north?
Well, it is. I don't know what their goals are, but clearly they are being manipulated by the Night Court in the same way that Otto and merchants that I interact with are manipulated. I don't like to use that word, but by the courts of light. And it is likely, if with what you've told me, that this magic artifact, it's likely that this young lady is the one who was doing the manipulation.
Even she was manipulated.
If there was a way to discredit her in their eyes, or to, I mean, if you're saying that she could be turned, convinced that it was wrong, perhaps she could assist you in turning them away from their path.
I look at Tromlin like, you're definitely the person who can do this. So I'm like, yeah, it's all you, man. Just like
I'm pretty sure
smiling
she
at
wants
you.
to carve my skin off my body at this point. It's fair.
It is likely that if they have been put on a path of war or something like that, it might be more. I mean, there is a type of rock that you can roll down a hill and see the tree it will hit, and there is a type of rock that you can start rolling down a hill and the entire hillside moves, and you have no choice in the matter once the rocks begin to slide.
Well, they
try and
definitely
nudge the rock toward Ravenfall, convince them they've been betrayed.
They definitely knew how to get to her because she's bitter, she's hurt, she felt powerless in her life.
From what I know of her, she was very power hungry. It does not surprise me to learn that she had taken up with the likes of the Raven cult or the Fey Lords of Night.
Out of character. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Out of character, do we know if any of the ragtag surviving bandit group from the other side are any of them from like the northern tribes who would like be able to talk to us about like what it's like what the mindset is and how they would respect power and that kind of thing?
I mean, yeah, you could for sure. Like, so nothing that you know specifically, but like these northern tribes that you've learned about, they're from, nearby, right? So people who've lived in this area for a long time would probably have a decent knowledge of,
what they're like.
And in fact, it seems to me that you already talked a bit to Shagrat's people about, these northern barbarians, and they were sort of like, oh yeah, there's always been tribes up there, but they were always kind of, each group had their own leaders, and they didn't trust each other, and they like made war on each other all the time. And them all banding together is new.
I mean, having removed their leader, then they might like whatever happened. I'm really curious to see how they handle the power vacuum because it being held together is probably pretty.
Oh,
we might be able to get more info on that too from Shaylin.
I would like some investigation rolls.
Ooh.
Because you definitely have some information that could be put together here. I think in particular, I want to see this from Copernicus for sure. I think Fetid was kind of out of it to have noticed, and Tromlin kind of came in late.
Yeah.
So
I rolled a
Ugna
9,
was
which
there.
is
Yeah, Ugna's
Yeah,
not
which is
likely,
8.
but definitely Copernicus could put this together, and
Yeah.
Glorpa, but Glorpa's not here.
Okay. I got a bad roll, and I'm thinking about the inspiration on this.
Well, I will say this is a pretty big payoff
All
if
right.
you get this one.
probably worth it.
I'm spending my paycheck as I get it.
Yep. Well, we're 40% of the way to another one.
Hey!
Who knows?
Hey,
Natural 19 plus 7 is
Excellent.
26.
nice.
Oh, good. Okay, so
Plot dump.
you realize this isn't so much a plot dump as just sort of putting together things that you just experienced. The guy who was questioning the turtle
Mhm.
was very tough. And in fact, he seemed to be somewhat important. And there were points where he said something about like he was ordering people around and telling them to go get Shaylin and stuff. You realize, and I think I actually told you he had or someone that he
Yeah,
had
Yeah.
3 blood droplets.
yeah.
I don't know if it was you
And
or
a
Glorpa.
second knife.
Mhm.
He had like 2 knives on
Yeah,
his chest.
that's right, and a smaller knife below the first one. And you think that he's probably the actual chieftain, the leader of these tribes that have come together. And then Shayla, from the sound of this, if this is the normal MO for these Fey types, you got like, I am the fairy servant with magic, and I'm going to manipulate people in the same way that Pucklezog is manipulating, Otto and some merchants to like get things moved in a certain way. For the one side of the Fey courts, that's what Shaylin's been doing,
Right. She's been
and
whispering in this guy's
that's
ear.
the guy that Shaylin's ear was. That's the ear that Shaylin was whispering into. That's the guy who's sort of like. So you've met the chieftain of the Night Slayers.
I put him in a headlock.
That Shaylin has been manipulating on the instructions of her warlock artifact and familiar.
Okay.
My brain keeps wanting me to say fetish. Her warlock fetish.
We're not playing werewolf.
Well, I know a
Very
little
different.
something about having a warlock fetish.
God damn it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Oh, she has a warlock fetish, does she? Well then.
Well then.
Mhm.
Tighten my suspenders.
I'm out. Tap. Mm-mm.
So given this information, it seems like what Pucklezog is saying is like you've got some options. It's clear that the Night Slayers have been acting on knowledge that and stuff that they've been getting from Shaylin. Now you also know that the Night Slayers were able to gain some magic from their association with Shaylin.
Yeah.
And how that works, you don't know.
And it would seem that they may not even know that they were serving the Raven Queen. So they may not know that the Raven Queen is not an enemy.
No.
And in fact,
And you also know from your questioning of them that their perspective of this is that they found us a power source to that they are like chosens of the gods and that they're going to come and kick all of the southerners out of the north.
right.
Their goal is conquest.
And
Would it be,
go ahead.
would it be possible to cause derision between them? Like, look, your chieftain couldn't even keep this tiny, scraggly woman from being yanked away from all of you. Is he really that good of a leader?
Mhm.
And if I remember,
Yep.
the guy that we captured back at the waterfall was like kind of uncomfortable with the new magic.
Yeah,
Or,
and
like,
we like let him
Yep.
go.
mhm.
Yep.
So they're not all on board with the magic, it would seem.
Nope.
And
Why don't you make me an Arcana test? Because now that you're getting a bunch of this information, this is kind of your wheelhouse. Because like this is warlock magic.
Not that you would know anything about that.
20, yeah. This is simply
Dirty,
I read
dirty
it once.
20 or a natural 20?
Dirty 20.
Okay,
So
still
10.
that's still pretty good. Well, yeah, I mean this is your wheelhouse, right? So, yeah, for a dirty 20, yeah, you realize, okay, what's probably happening here is that Shaylin as the font of the warlock cult magic. Like, this is the kind of magic that you get when you get a bunch of warlocks, right, working together on rituals and stuff. And you've already done an identify on the pendant. Like, through this artifact and her connection with the warlock circle or cult or whatever who's doing all this stuff, Shaylin has been giving powers to the shaman or whatever they call themselves. I think, was that what they called themselves?
I think
I
they
can't
said-
remember if he called it, but anyway, the magicians of this tribe. And you could, with that Arcana roll, you can sort of, okay, I know how you would do that, right? Some of the ways in which warlock power could be done that way. So sort of like in the form of promises. This is pact magic, right? So if you sort of go, hey, swear these things, and you will be able to do X.
Right.
And the person who has been the font of that has been Shaylin through this item that you have stolen via kobold guts. So yeah, you kind of are now holding the strings.
Yeah. So new pitch. How effectively do you think you could impersonate Shaylin, Tromlin?
Need to learn about her, I think.
Well, I
I
wonder
can always
if
act.
we can just send the whole war back at Ravenfall. Like, you go back that new direction. It turns out we were betrayed. To truly prove our strength, we must strike down those who thought they were holding our strings. And then just send them on the warpath, and we just job done.
With the shot, nothing else will be a distraction for a bit.
Innocents will die in this war, but not the innocents that we're responsible for. So.
Okay, now you're losing Tromlin. It's like,
Well, it seems like
Listen.
a war is coming. Like, that's gonna happen. May as well send it at the people who monged that war.
I mean, yeah, we're kind of in a place where someone's dying no matter what, aren't we?
Will say that I'll remind you that it is unusual for these tribes to unify.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Like, you
that-
already
They
know
may
that
splinter
from
and go back
history
to their own
rolls
tribes.
before. Well, and it
Their own groups.
depending on how encouraged they are to splinter, for example.
I do still want to question Shaylin when she wakes. Although, like, the first thing she does when she wakes up is I'm casting silence on her. Because
Nice.
Give her a
that
pencil.
her whole person so she can't speak.
Yep.
You got a zone of
And
truth
then-
in there too somewhere.
I can
Mhm.
I can do
Well,
a
zone of truth is useless if she can't talk.
It's true.
yeah. I can
Yeah,
do
you
a
can still write. You could give her a piece of, like, you could give her something to write on
Or get
to
20
answer your
questions
questions.
that do yes and no.
Yep.
It's not a
Mhm.
bad tactic for questioning a mage. So that you can't cast any of your spells, but you can still answer my questions.
I would prefer to find a way for this to end where she does not get turned over to Shadrach. I think he'll kill her.
Well, when she's still got to get like not evil and then go and chat with Rosie, right?
I would actually like to reunite them. I feel bad about it.
Yeah. So maybe if we could maybe make her less evil or something.
Well, okay. It sounds like the world around her kind of pushed her to evil. She felt helpless.
Do we know that?
She poured her heart out to me when she thought I was Rosie.
Oh.
Yeah. She admitted to me, like, that, about how they all had the power and we had nothing. And on about how angry she was at what they did to us.
Well, I mean, I know what it's like to be like, down on your luck and nobody looking out
Oh,
for
God.
you. So if you can have somebody looking out for you, it's a lot better.
Yeah, and moreover, a situation where she doesn't feel powerless, so maybe she's not prone to this. Like, for all we know, her whole life she's been stepped on. You get pushed around enough. It's honestly amazing. Ugna and I never went down this path, especially Ugna, who could have destroyed half the town.
Oh, that'd be bad though. I don't like seeing people get hurt.
I know, but, like, what if things had gone differently? Like, okay, what if when we were children you had seen someone get away with killing me? What path would
That'd
you
be
think
not
you'd
so
gone down?
good.
Yeah. You don't know what she endured, and I feel bad for her. Maybe I'm being foolish. I don't know. But
Look, if being smart means that you gotta be mean to people and not give them second chances, then I don't want to be smart.
it doesn't mean that, though. So, but sometimes being pushed around a lot makes it hard to want to give chances. Especially when no one gave you the first chance.
We can see what she has to say when she wakes
Okay.
up.
And Uncle Zog, I made breakfast for you.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Much
I'll
appreciated.
hand him some.
Can I then be assured that it is your intention to attempt to break the power of these
Yes.
barbarians?
At least to separate them, if not break them completely. Like, break
If you
up at
do
least.
intend to bargain with this young lady, I strongly recommend that you absolutely do not return any item of power to her.
Oh hell no! No 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 no. She has lost that.
Very good. At which point he will sort of like, kind of like gesture to the woods,
Mhm.
and you realize at that point that there is like almost like a wall of denser trees than you remember ringing this glade, and like hulking mushroomoid and plant-like things in the shadows that sort of ease back away.
So we're not about to be murdered. Is what's
No, that's
going
good.
on.
That's
Yep.
good.
Well,
The fairy goon squad isn't coming.
you strongly suspect the murder target was like heavily her, not so much you guys
But yeah.
or that
Hmm.
thing. So you can bring around Shaylin whenever you want. I've just been sort of leaving it.
Give her a little smack, wake her up.
No, let's not do that. Let's not be. She's had a rough enough night.
It's like a sleep spell at this point. You can like
That's
just shake
true.
her awake.
I first off bound her, cast silence on
Yep.
her.
I'm gonna disable my message or my whatever that alarm spell that I did was.
Yep.
Message, yeah.
Just
So
drop
it doesn't
that.
Suddenly,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I guess we should
Like,
tell Dan.
Bind her wrists. You've disarmed her. You cast silence.
We should probably get hold of Dangolf too. Let him know where we're at.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I mean, if you
and
want
see
to get
where
hold of
we want
Dangal
to meet him.
first, you can.
I
Let's
want
go
to
ahead
wait.
and get-
I want to wait for him to do the sending, unless one of us is sending.
I thought I think I said, didn't I say that you could have his name or something, or he gave you some kind of like magic thing to just send him a call?
Yeah,
I think he
like
gave you a
pager.
he
Yeah,
gave
he
you a
had like a
stone.
cone.
He
Yeah,
gave you a
we-
stone.
he-
Yeah.
And we could
Okay.
call
We
his
have his
name.
You can
pager
sort of
number.
like trigger it. It's like a pager, and
Mhm.
he'll know to
Mhm.
cast
Okay.
ascending.
Okay. I'll activate that.
Okay.
See when he checks in.
Well,
And
you
like
take-
moments later, you'll get ascending.
Okay.
And it rambles on for exactly the right number of words, but it basically just says, yes, what is it? But it's like, it's like, you have reached Dangolf the Dun, Wizard of the Tower, and you may tell me now what it is that you wish to. Yeah. Exactly 20 words.
Okay, and then I'll leave an awkward pause at the beginning because I'm not sure if it's the end of his message. And I'm like, hello? Oh, okay. This is your
Hello.
friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hello. Okay. This is your friend Copernicus. Just letting you know we caught Shaylin and the familiar soul. How are you, friend?
Did you want to like ask him to come to you or anything like that, or is that what are you trying to
Just ask
do
where
here?
he
What's your
is.
goal?
Yeah.
Well, you know where he is. He said he
Yeah.
would be staying at the inn in
Oh, right.
Stormhill.
I'll
Stormhill.
tap the request ascending again.
I'm just gonna go on like old school third ed and previous rules because it's
He
morning. He's like
knows.
in the process of like getting his spells for the day, so he just like keeps reading them out of the book. It's fine. He does another message.
uh, Postscript. We are at the clearing due northwest of Stormill, wherever we are. And where are you, and would you like to meet? We plan to interrogate Shaylin very soon.
He would have said even with that sending that he wants to meet you immediately and deal with that soul cage before anything potentially happens to the.
Yes, then make haste to the clearing. We shall wait here for you. Your friend Copernicus.
You can like send up some sort of signal if you can give him a general idea, but you can like, throw up like fairy lights or something or various. You actually can do thaumaturgy type cantripping, so you can like
I'm still a little
have
bit
like an
nervous about
unholy light.
advertising our location with probably
Mhm.
people hunting for Shaylin.
Yeah.
But
We can,
yeah.
I'm just saying we can hand wave
Yeah.
getting. I don't want to
Getting
like.
there. Yeah.
I don't want to take like 20 minutes to figure out a convoluted plan just so you can figure out how to meet someone.
He shows up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You have definitely the ability to like, or actually better yet, you just you send give him the sending to say we're at a clearing in the woods near some hills, and just totally useless. And then he just like there's a poof and he's there because he's got this. You've got the stone he gave you, and he can just hone in on it.
Yes. Beauty.
I will offer him some breakfast as well.
Thank you very much. It is I, Dan Galf, and
Oh, it's
Dan
Dan
Galf
Galf.
means me.
I wouldn't have known unless he'd told us. So helpful.
Thank God. I was about to shoot an arrow at this guy.
And he will immediately. What have you done with the spirit, with the cage?
I think I have that.
I think you do,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the Pokeball.
Excellent work, my young friend. And he'll take the soul cage. Yes, we should be able to very much interfere with the maker of this creature.
We also have Tromlin. Would you like to show the other item we recovered?
I will open the box again and present him with the amulet.
Shaylin was wearing this, and it seems to be the source of many of her warlock powers.
Oh,
We also have
yes.
her weaponry as well.
Very good. He doesn't seem particularly interested in the weapons. He's like, this is excellent work. We can definitely find out more about the warlock who made these things and is causing these troubles. By the way, as soon as Danagolf shows up, Pucklezog kind of fades into the trees and vanishes.
Fair enough. You guys good. Well, we're going to start questioning Shaylin if you would like to stick around.
I wouldn't very much like to hear what is said.
Well, she won't be saying much as we had a silencer to prevent her from Misty stepping away.
Wise.
It was that or blinding her, so.
That seems excessive.
A blind spell. I mean.
Oh, yes. Less excessive.
So I will bring over like a plate of eggs. And, and like a biscuit and kind of wave it under her nose.
He'll go like sit. Dangolf will go sit like on a rock a little ways away and like take the plate of food you gave him and just kind of like messily eat it. It's that whole like imagine wizard equal several 100-year-old bachelor, and it's just like just in the beard, don't care, leave it for later.
Oh, once
whatever.
My breakfast is not Triscuits.
Yeah, just like big streak of, how like Radagast with the bird shit down his face in the Hobbit movie, except it's egg yolk.
Great.
Good. I will arrange myself behind Tromlin like I'm the bad cop. I know my role in this.
I will wave the plate of food under her nose.
I'm going to sit next to her because it's close to where the food is going to be sitting.
That's true.
Seems like a good idea.
I will remind our friend Quaggle that this is her breakfast. She still has to eat, prisoner or not. There's more. I point to the pot. There's more there for you.
So she comes around, sort of like a little bleary, eyes widen a bit as she sort of recognizes the faces around her. And you read the lips as she immediately speaks the word to Misty Step. But of course, silence doesn't work. Nothing happens.
I mouth back your breakfast. I give her some water as well. Actually,
She looks down at her bound hands and is like scowls at you. Obviously you've left it so she can like take the food and still eat it with both hands.
Yeah. I give her like a stein of beer because that's probably cleaner than most water.
She won't take the food or drink. Clearly doing the whole like, yeah, you're just trying to poison me or something.
I will take a bite from it and I'll take a drink from it.
Bit of bravado. Yeah. Yeah, it's very surly teenager vibes. She still refuses to eat, even when you like take the food and eat it and try and.
Very well. I will move out of the sphere of silence, I guess, because it's an area effect, isn't it?
You can place it so that you can not be in it.
Okay, I'll place it where it's a little.
I think you cast it on something or someone, and then it's in a sphere there. So you can just place it so that she's centered in it, and then just stand
around her
a few feet away. Yeah.
I pull out paper and ink, and I put it in front of her, and ask her point blank, "Why did you do all this? What made you feel so powerless?" I don't think anyone's ever asked her like what happened to her. So
She she'll start off like writing something along the lines of I don't answer to you.
you don't have to, but it greatly determines how this ends for you. Either we can end up helping you start your life away from this. You don't have to hurt others, and you can maybe even feel like you have some degree of control over your life. You could be turned over to someone who is absolutely going to put you an end. And obviously, there's at least one person in this world you want to find. I'm sorry I used that against you.
Based on the structure of this group, first of all, I think I want an intimidation test from Ugna, just a baseline how generally threatening things are. The little old creepy man without like specific displays, and the little like disgusting Quaggle, and the doddering old guy in the robe in the background.
How's
and even the like handsome little.
How's a dirty 20 feel?
That feels pretty good.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I want some persuasion from Chomlin. Like you're proposing to sort of undo the course of her life from the last few years.
Yeah.
Which isn't impossible. I am a firm believer. So yeah, make me a persuasion roll. I just want to know where the numbers are.
Does charm speech give me advantage?
Hang on a second. So charmed speech, speaking with her for a while, is going to cause a persuasion versus insight roll. So roll that one separately. If you win it, I'll give you advantage on the other persuasion roll.
Okay.
So her insight ain't great here.
That's good.
5, 11.
Oh shit! I got 24.
Okay, yeah, a little better than my 11. So yes, you have advantage on that persuasion roll. I am a firm believer, for the audience, that in not using alignments. I've always hated alignments in Dungeons and Dragons since like I started playing Dungeons and Dragons in the 80s, and in particular, I think that this kind of role playing and situation can change someone's
Mm-hmm.
mindset. I wouldn't be just like, oh no, she's chaotic neutral, so you fail.
I'm really glad I had advantage because without adjustments, I rolled an 18 and a
Nice.
1.
That's
Don't forget.
Ooh.
yeah. The
So,
28 is a little bit better than the 11.
yes.
Okay.
Let me be the first person to ask you what happened to you.
So first things first. After speaking with her for a bit and talking about her situation and sort of telling her what you know about, like making it clear that you know more than she would think you know.
Yeah.
That's more than a minute of speech. The
Yeah.
the musical language coming out of Tromlin's mouth is supernaturally effective. And so she is effectively charmed as per the spell as long as you're talking to her. Then on top of that, you've made this persuasion roll of 28. So in the interest of time, rather than doing a very long, very just two of us conversation scene, you quickly figure out that she's pretty bitter about like life in general, and she is quite enamored of the power. She was very, very keen on the idea of basically taking over from Shagrat and being like, no, I'm the head bandit person out here because I have this on my side. But in terms of, and then the Night Slayers are going to go to war and like wipe out the towns and rule. She didn't really have a plan for that.
Hmm.
It was just kind of like, yeah, look at my power. Like it didn't really go beyond, I want that. Shagrat is like the head bandit, and it's like being sort of the main thieves guild guy in this area. I'm smarter, and I should be that, and I can have power. But having gotten that power, and having gotten like an army behind her that is now like the Avalanche, very much with the analogy that you just got from Puckelzog. She didn't really have a plan for where that went from here, other than she gets to still be on top. And as you start to kind of turn your persuasion towards, you know, this is the people that would be hurt by what you're going to do now, and this is where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of tactic has some potential.
My thing is trying to explain to her, you do realize you are doing the same thing that others did to you, people who would have never hurt you. Like, so you're creating a cycle.
You're like full on going into, I don't want to make another roll for me, but like this would be like an insight thing where you're going into like the psychology of her past
Yeah,
and sort of
I'm
being
trying to
like,
get into like not necessarily like full morality, but like
what do you think about your dad?
Like therapist
it's more about
Tromlin.
Yeah.
how can you justify doing the same thing when you know how much it hurts?
And
And,
not
and
only not only are you doing that, but you're not actually in control when you do it. You're hurting the people that your lords and masters point you to hurt. That's
eventually,
not power.
what happens when they decide to take the power away? What happens when you're not as useful, or they've gotten all the use out of you? What makes you think they don't see how much you desire this power, and knowing that you're addicted to it, more or less, and therefore they can get you to do anything they please, just like every other person who hurt you before.
These lines of attack are definitely putting some cracks in the contrary teenager uh, facade here of like, well, I don't care about them.
Well,
Very clearly making inroads. You
what about
are
Rosie?
starting. Sorry.
What about Rosie? What if one of these raids one day ends up making her a victim? Will you care then?
She
How would you?
left.
Why did she leave?
No one else cares.
I care. I'm asking you. Look, if we didn't care,
Would we have
You would
dropped two
be-
nets on you?
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Got you with sticky ropes and
look, if we didn't care, you would have been turned over to Shagrak. Or you'd be in chains in the dungeon. Look, I point to Ugna. She and I have spent our lives on the streets with no one caring about us. I'm not going to pretend I understand what happened to you. I don't. But I do know what it's like to be forgotten. I do know what it's like to be powerless.
what I want to know now.
Mhm.
Like I was doing like the surly voice, but obviously
Yeah.
it's like writing slash
Mm-hmm.
your body language and like refusing to write or writing when you get through somewhere. What I want to know now is what's the alternative? What are you going to offer her? Like, are you going like if what you're saying here is like you should stop doing the bad thing and then we're just going to let you go? I mean, I'm
No.
guessing that's not where you're going with this. Because like obviously, if she isn't going to go back to being, the Raven Queen's hand and glorious
Well,
purpose.
here's a good question. Why did Rosie leave? This is not Ugna.
I
This is
asked.
Alina. And you did?
I didn't ask that. She never told me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get the impression that like I think I'm trying to remember, but I
Because if it was
vaguely
her
think that
arrogance
this
and her
came out
need
last.
for power that drove Rosie away, then that's something she could try to turn around.
I thought it
No,
was just she had to take care of her mom, and it wasn't.
yeah,
like a
last
Yeah.
game it was family obligations, as I recall.
Gotcha.
Because we had this.
Um,
this came out with Randy's.
But if that was like
talking
something
to her
they
last
fought
time.
about, and part of the reason why Rosie chose to leave.
What happened? I'll say what happened with Rosie's mom? What was wrong with her?
Yeah, she'll write. Like again, I keep like forgetting that I'm not role playing her speech because she can't talk. But yeah, the summary is basically that Rosie's mom was in like basically a poverty situation. It's not like was attacked by orcs or was like sick and dying, but basically Rosie went to take care of her parents. Her mom, or sorry, no, her father died, and Rosie went to take care of her mom. So basically, it's like support.
Look, we can give you options here. We can't let you just return to the Raven Queen cult because she is going to hurt people, including you, including Rosie, including anyone who's actually you might have cared about. It's too dangerous for everyone to let you go back. I can speak to my higher ups in the guild, explain how you were manipulated, try to get you some type of apprenticeship. She's young, right? She's a younger kid.
Yeah, she's like probably early 20s.
Get you
That's
training.
that's an appropriate angle, I think, because her whole thing was she didn't want to be, under Shagrat, and she wanted like, and she obviously is very, very skilled.
I can get you to a larger city. I can get you new life. We can talk to Rosie. I can see if we can at least help her mother somewhat, get her mother more stable, so you two have a chance to start life together. Or hell, bring her with you all. Give you a new option. You don't have to do this. Preferably something that does not get innocent people killed.
Okay, you are really good at this. I was going to call for another roll, but honestly, you're I don't know that there's a point.
Sorry.
No, but it's very you're hitting the right points here for this to be compelling. So basically,
empathy.
You're using empathy, and it's appropriate. But also, this is like a backwater town kid who has become like way too skilled and excellent for being like nobody bandit, and she's tried to become the leader through finding, dark magic, offering to basically take her to like the big time in Karsh and like get her in connections with like higher ups in the guild or something along those lines is definitely an angle that I can see working.
But for this to
I-
work, what do you think will happen, Shaylin, if you leave your place in the power structure of the tribes? Who will they lash out at?
Yeah, I was just trying to think of how Shaylin would put it in writing, but again, I'll just summarize. Likely it would be that they, like they're already on a course, so their plans are to destroy. Actually, no, I do know what I'll give you. Shaylin would actually say that I'll let you know that she's the main reason they haven't already attacked Stormhill.
Right.
Because she's been trying to like direct them to wipe out the other bandits so she can basically like become the bandit queen. But their whole thing, which from interrogating them, is that they are going to, their glorious purpose, they're going to, push all of the Southerners out of the North and rule supreme. So if she's not there, basically they're going to stop trying to fight Shagrat's people and just turn on the town.
Stormhill.
Oh, good. So we accelerated the war.
Good, good. We're very good at this.
Great.
Amazing.
But now I think that you're kind of getting Shaylin around. She would inform you again. So if you start scribbling furiously, trying to explain stuff, you kind of get you start to feel, Randy, like it would be easier if the silent spell wasn't happening.
Shaylin, I'm gonna drop the silence spell. I'm trusting you not to escape, okay? Now to Ugna and basically make sure for Ugna everyone to back off from her.
Back of your mind, you're like, Misty Step's only 30 feet.
Yep.
So.
But even then, that's a head start, and it's woods.
Yep. It's a lot less than the range of an arrow, though.
Yep.
I don't want her shot. Like,
No.
I really don't want her killed.
But you drop the
that's up to
silent
her,
spell, and she'll say, it's. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the name because I wrote it down and I don't know, and I've too damn many files, and you might just have to make up a new one. I'm just making one. It's Jarak.
Chirac?
Jarak is the one who's been pulling them together because of the power I gave him. He's the one who's the main shaman, the main war leader. He's the one who'll who'll want to move on Stormhill.
Mm-hmm. So we have to let Stormhill know, first off, that they're in danger.
At this point, Dangalf is going to pipe up and say, we can ensure that Stormhill is well defended, but also, now that I have these, and he sort of like gestures at his robe, not bringing them out, but where he stowed away the amulet and the soul cage, I will be able to divert this power. These, if we are correct, and he sort of gestures to you, Copernicus, this warlock has been granting power through this young lady to these barbarian shamans, and I have the means to stop and disrupt that. If you will assist me with a ritual, we can break those chains that they would need to be reforged.
I don't know anything about rituals other than tea rituals, because I'm a perfectly normal man, but I could help pour tea, yes. Sounds
Perfectly normal warlock. Yes, that's what I need.
A man. Understood.
And Golf, please just go with it. Please just go with it.
How great are the Night Stalkers' numbers? How strong are they without magic? I'll ask Shaylin.
Shaylin will say, I mean, a lot more powerful than Shagrat's bandits, but you know, not like the king's armies.
Okay.
But that's not the thing. If the power that Jerax has goes away, that's not gonna sit well with his. Like, that's how he's running everything.
Oh, he's the appointed one, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is probably the rock on which the rising wave will break. Then, if we can ensure a sound defeat and like proof that he's not all that chosen after all.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which would break ranks because he has proven he is not who he promised.
Mm-hmm.
I look at Shaylin. Okay, I have a couple more very important questions. Where is Rosie at now? Do you know?
I mean, I know where her family was. She's probably still there.
Do you want us to go with you to help talk to her? Smooth things over?
It kind of gets one of those, like, so you know how, like, especially among 20-somethings, you'll get that, like, petulant teenager, oh, I have to do a thing, adult now, I guess. Right? So it's petulant teenager, reluctant adult. And then usually straight back to petulant teenager, usually through binge drinking. So she gets that look on the face of, like, I guess I have to be a grown-up now.
Where
Thing.
would you
And she
ideally...
says, no, I want you to give me your word. I want you to do what you've offered. Take me to people who will recognize my worth, and I will impress them and make a name for myself. And when I'm successful in that life, then I'll go. When I can help, then I'll go to Rosie.
Now, you do understand you will not immediately start off. You'll be an apprentice. You will not be apprenticed to some backwoods bandits. But you'll be in the city. And you will... you'll be expected to show your work, but once you do, like, it will be different. But you will have to work your way up.
I'll impress them. You
I know
get
you
me the
will.
chance, and I can do it.
I believe it. All right. What is our hometown again? I forgot.
Mud Hollow.
Mud Hollow. But you
How do
would think you have connections in Karsh as well, because that's where you kind of go in your alternate guise to do a lot of your stuff.
How do you feel about Karsh?
The big city, that's perfect.
I have friends there. Some owe favors. Some I can owe favors to.
Now I have to rewrite Shaylin Tark to be a potential.
Ally.
Yeah.
Just
Excellent.
fucking your game of all every way possible today.
No,
Excellent.
it is.
Yep.
Good.
I definitely fully expected a murder-in to happen in the last few games.
Not therapy.
Nope.
We chose
Whatever
the therapy
works.
route.
We did inflict some trauma first.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I
I mean, there was murder-in. It was
Oh,
just
yeah.
not the murder-in I expected.
did
No.
do some psychic damage to her.
Yep.
I do feel.
We all went dad mode tonight.
Yup.
So while this is going on, Dangolf is going to walk a little ways away, and you realize, Copernicus, that he's doing ascending.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not like trying to hide it or anything, but you can hear the words he's saying, and he's basically instructing
Prepare for battle.
he's instructing some important person in terms of policing or whatever, that the barbarians of the north are, aligning under a specific banner, are likely to attack Stormhill in the near future. Here, recommend greater defenses on the walls to the north, yada yada. Basically, warning to expect this. And then from there, he's ready to do this ritual.
Okay. And also, before we do that, if Shaylin's willing to give us any like particular details about the attack plan, that would be helpful for like anticipating maneuvers, people tunneling in.
Or what
Sure,
might be
to
like
keep it-
a symbol of the Raven Queen's disfavor on this Jarak guy.
Mm-hmm.
She'll she'll basically, I mean, she at this point, she'll share whatever she knows about their military disposition, and Dangalf will pass all of that on to the guard at Stormhill.
Okay.
So, yeah, in the interest of time, because I wouldn't mind we're basically about to get to the end of this adventure. So,
Can we also
you and
report Tromlin dead?
What's that?
Can we report Tromlin dead to Stormhill? So, like, in all of this information that we're giving, he died in the attempt to capture Shaylin.
Died on his way back to his home planet.
All right.
The question is, what do you want to tell Dangalf about the situation?
Lord Boltree has it out for my grand nugget here. Wants him dead, has eyes searching for him.
One, I'm sticking with that one.
Given how much we've done to protect the interests of the city, I would ask that you report that he died in the raid attempt, so that perhaps Lord Boltree will let us leave the city in peace when we go to bring Shaylin to her new life.
Well, I'm afraid I have heard nothing of you or your friends from the Lord Boltree, other than when I was informed that I would need to speak with some local investigators who were looking into the death of the merchants. Would it not be suspicious if I brought up this name and said to the Lord Boltree, this individual you didn't tell me about is dead?
Please report that the investigators suffered losses, and if he follows up, specify that it was the satyr.
Very well. I will do this.
I very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Granddad. Thank you, Dangalf.
And he, so basically the ritual, he's going to get your help with it because you have warlock magic. He wants to unmake this artifact. Because it's basically been used as a conduit to grant these magic powers. And if it's been unmade, then there's a break in the chain between the source of the power and these individuals. Between the two of you, and I'm not going to make you do a bunch of like rolls, but just like on sort of a religion knowledge as well as arcana, this isn't like a cure-all, because any of these shamans that have like turned to like worship could theoretically, gain power normal divine magic ways by sort of being clerics. But you would know between the religion knowledge of multiple people in the party here and Dangalf, that that's like a ground up situation. That's like, a bunch of these guys going, I have a magic power that I was granted, going, oh, I don't have that anymore. I guess I'm going to start leveling as a cleric, right, or a warlock, with the Raven Queen as my patron. That's kind of that's not an immediate threat.
Wait
till I'm important.
That's like taking someone's like castle away and then being like, well, now I know what a castle looks like. I'm going to start building one from scratch. You'll see. Yeah, okay.
Like, good luck,
you
bud.
get started on that. I'll worry about that when you get to like maybe 3 courses of rocks and can hide behind them. So yeah, between you having your abilities as a warlock to draw on, he'll do like a effectively dispel magic as a ritual. And between the two of you, you can unmake this magic item entirely.
We did it.
Hooray!
Yeah, he's going to want to keep the familiar because, as he says, he wants to use this as a connection to that warlock. As long as he's got that warlock's familiar soul trapped, the warlock shouldn't be able to make another familiar, and he can like use it as a connection to try and like scry on him or locate him or something. But that's a longer term plan.
Yeah. Try
Fuck
and get
with
familiar.
him.
That's a
Fuck him
plot for
up.
another chapter.
Yep. And Dangelf will invite you if you want to check in with him, particularly Copernicus, who he seems to see very much as like a colleague. But he will ask if you are ever in Mud Hollow to check in with him at the mage school there, the tower where he lives. Yeah, so from there, I don't know if you want to like throw on any additional flavor, like saying, if you want to attempt to like, you have like the resources to assassinate Jarek if you wanted to. At this point, he just lost all of his extra magic tricks, and
think that's
Ugna had him
important.
fought to a standstill once already.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I
you have
definitely
a
wanna
friend
do
with an
that.
airship.
Yeah.
Napalm the shit out of him.
Well, I mean, I was
Yeah.
asking earlier, like, when we were talking to Shaylin, is there some sigil or sign that we could throw up that would be like, ultimate dishonor from the Raven Queen on this guy? He's
Not really,
lost her
mainly
favor.
because remember, Shaylin was their connection to the
Right,
Raven Queen. So like, they don't know anything about worshiping the Raven Queen.
Right.
They were just like Shaylin wasn't about to share, hey, here's how you can get power that doesn't depend on me.
I was
But
hoping
is
we'd get
there
them
a
to
big-
fight each other and then leave.
Is there a
Yeah.
big barbarian like taboo where like if like I don't know, he like if the gods show disfavor by like I don't know a random birthmark appearing on his face or something, we just like draw a dick on his face with the Sharpie while he's sleeping.
Not
Anything like
really, not really, but I would say probably like the easiest like thing in your arsenal is you could literally just summon a demon and send it after him.
Oh yeah, actually we could drop a demon out of the airship.
Directly onto his head.
Yeah.
Fly over and summon Agrajag again.
Oh, or the fire starter demon in the middle of camp.
Yeah. There's the one chance that you haven't had to send some general mayhem.
Yeah,
Yep.
the one that does area fire damage just by being there. That is
Yeah,
perfect.
that's a good
In the
pick.
middle of a canvas-filled tented area where they're trapped in by their own fencing.
Okay,
And especially if you when you summon him, you specifically give him the instruction of kill that guy.
Yeah.
Well, no, you would want to be specific, and then if he breaks free,
Oh,
you're not as worried about it because he's in an enemy camp when he
Yeah.
breaks free
Yeah.
for the
my
X rounds that he gets
Also,
to
again,
do stuff.
I just want to see Trogdor burninate the countryside here. Burninate all the bandits. Burninate all the people in their canvas tent cottages.
My only concern is that one elderly goblin prisoner.
Oh yeah, we didn't let him go, did we?
All right.
He's still
You
there.
didn't, but you blew the prison tent apart.
So he's probably dead anyway, so go for it.
So.
He's
Oh
either
wait a
dead or
second!
escaped.
No. That wasn't. I may be misremembering.
Oh, that was Shagrat.
Oh, that was Shagrat.
That was a
yeah.
prisoner at Shagrat's.
Oh, okay. Then
Yeah.
There was no other prisoners at.
Mantan was the only one in that tent.
We
Yeah.
already failed to save him.
That's true.
I just. Oh,
Well, you
we
can
have-
still save him. You could go back to Shagrat and say, "Hey, we fixed everything for you, and you're going to release that guy because we fixed everything for you."
Yeah.
Oh, we need to get
Yeah.
Ugna's buddy back.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
You got to go back to Shagrat's anyway to pick up Tom.
That'll be part of our
Um,
services rendered. It's like, you gotta let these two go.
We are not taking this young lady back to Shagrath.
No.
But we have a turtle friend
Yeah.
who can drop her off, and I can give her papers to deliver to anyone who owes
So,
me favors. Go.
Stop me if you want to add to this, but how about, in the purpose of sort of denouement, you having finished with Dangelf and explained your situation, and he's going to go on to help direct the defenses, so that in addition to having extra soldiers, if a bunch of barbarians attack the town, there will also be a powerful wizard with helping. And so he moved after ensuring that you must come to tea sometime at the majory in Mud Hollow. He disappears again. After he's gone, Pucklezog will come back out of the woods and thank you again for your efforts. The Court of Light will not forget your assistance. He will say to Tromlin, and perhaps we will be in touch again.
Give my regards to the good lady. Should you happen upon her again?
Yep, and the Horned King. Of course, remember she was a summoned avatar, so as much an avatar of the Horned King at that point as of the Dark Lady Shar, which is why, because the Horned King's whole thing is he's the Horned King, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Which is why you ended up servicing the avatar
Wait, he
in the way that
also
you
lost an amulet inside a kobold? That's what this
Yeah.
is, right?
That's what that gesture is.
did.
Yeah.
No,
Was
that's
it
down.
me?
That's down.
Oh,
Kobold's,
sorry.
yeah,
Oh.
kobold's down. It's not like that. Yeah,
I'm
wrong way,
Okay.
wrong direction. This one is fucking a Fey avatar.
That's what that gesture
And-
means.
Yeah, that's
I was
what people mean
wondering.
when they
I
do
was
that on the
wondering.
street at
Yeah.
you. They mean, hey, go fuck the Dark Lady the Drow, I guess. And so he then bows and takes his leave. You make your way back to Stormhill and send word into town, not wanting to attract the attention of any of Lord Boltry's people. You send in word to the inn to let Diomedes know that the roads will be safe for him soon, and to let Araxti know that you'd like a lift, and he's happy to give you a lift. He asks you where you want to go. You tell him, well, we want to make a detour first because we'd like to destroy the bandit camp that was imprisoning you, and he is all for that idea. He's happy. He's happy to oblige. As you fly over and summon.
Rain hell
so
down.
it wasn't. Yeah, I'm trying to remember which one. It wasn't Throckmaw. That was the.
Yeah, that's I think it breathes fire, but
that's the one that breathes fire. You want
yeah.
the one that is fire.
Yeah.
Wait, that's not the one you promised to not summon, is it?
No, that's the
No.
shade. That's the shade.
That would be the most useful assassin one, but that would be a specific assassination. You're going for let's create general havoc.
Yeah, so Edoraza.
Yeah, Edoraza. So yeah, you summon the demon Edoraza, who is literally a living ball of fire, with like a fire face, like the cartoony, just like spaces in the fire that are the mouth and eyes, and drop him into the middle of this
We're
bandit
definitely not
camp
the bad
with the
guys, though.
instruction
The
to
kill.
murder the guy with the double dagger tattoo and the 3 blood drops. His name is Jerax. Burn him to nothing. And then you concentrate as long as you can. Hell, you can get buffs from Tromlin to make it easier to make
God.
your saving throws. And of course, your enemy has disadvantage to on his saving throws. I'm going to ask Alina for you to take take 1 inspiration off of everyone who's got 1 left,
Okay.
and I'm going to combine that to a hero point and just ignore any kind of dice rolls for all of this. It works.
Yay! One of our plans worked.
Woo! We have
Hooray.
one
Oh,
inspiration
giant.
left, and it's only because Danielle's not here tonight.
And
Thank you,
that
Laura.
will spread flames throughout the camp, but particularly your assassination attempt, particularly because Jerax has powerful magics with which he is going to fight this demon, except he's going to do this, and
Nothing
nothing's
happens.
going to fucking happen at the inopportune
Stole
moment.
his stuff.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wow.
A little yellow skin
Whoosh.
kid pops up and laughs at him.
After vacating the area and waiting, and so that when you're done concentrating, you're not nearby for the fireball to come after.
It does fly, so it can come
yeah.
back.
On a ship, that seems bad.
Yeah. you see the flame like fly up into the sky at the end of the when it finally breaks in the far distance. But of course, he only has a few rounds, so he just launches a few more fireballs around and then disappears. And you make your way back to Shagrat's camp and inform Shagrat that several things. A, we did it. Shaylin is gone. We'll leave it at that.
Mhm.
Yep.
The bandit camp has been razed and the bandits' power has been broken. And
They're gonna go after
please
Storm
hand
Hill,
over
is
your
what it is.
prisoners because that was the deal.
Yep.
Including that old
Um,
goblin that I think we never acknowledged the existence of with him because he hid that guy. Oh no,
But he
Which
Tommy.
is-
seems cool.
But Tromlin can 100% throw a bargaining roll, a persuasion on that. That like, so you agreed to hand over Tom, and I think because we did such a good job, we should get a bonus prisoner.
Let's say that
Um,
guy.
You succeed.
26.
Well, there you go. And because of the hero point spending, I'm giving disadvantage to Shagrat. You succeed. He agrees.
Who was
And
that
by
guy?
this time, Tom has already lived up to his end of the bargain and helped beef up all of the
So
equipment
they even
here
got
in the
better
camp.
weapons out of it after all,
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah, good deal.
Yep. Not really dwarven make because he can't
Yeah.
really forge anything new, but at least everything's been dwarf serviced. It's like going to get your oil change, but you pay for the upgraded.
They got dwarf refurbished weaponry.
Yeah, dwarf
pretty good.
refurbishment.
Oh,
It's
I
pretty
like
good.
that.
Dwarven refurbishment.
I give
That
Froggar a
sounds
little
bespoke.
wave and a little
Or
pat on the
furbish.
shoulder.
And just to make it all cherry on top, Mantanaraxti will give you a quick hop of a lift a few hours over the raging Shadow Sea, and you will find yourselves landing at the docks at Mud Hollow.
I will
Back
look
home.
Cool.
Home at last.
Oh,
Home
I
and-
again.
will look at
Very
my
Smells
dumb.
just as bad as I remember.
It smells exactly like you left it.
I will turn to the young charge, say, look, we need to rest for a day or two. From there, we will travel. Okay?
All right, but I will hold you to your word.
What can I do to prove to you I mean it?
She holds out her hand.
I shake her hand.
She nods, and she goes off to like find a place to stay in the quarter.
I have a guest room in my home. You can just stay there for free and have food.
You'll be able to find me when you're ready.
All right, very well.
It's okay, I don't snore that loud.
She's leaning into this whole I'm going to make a new life for myself in the Thieves Guild.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Okay.
going to check out the Mud Hollow situation.
Yeah. Why do I feel like all of a sudden there's going to be a new upstart in the fighting pits that Ugna is going to have to...
We'll see.
Ugna, we need to go report in. So,
This is the
Oh,
last you've seen
I
of
gotta-
Shaylin Tark.
I gotta check in on Sal too. I don't know if he's okay.
yeah, we definitely got to check in. so
Tom,
they know
let's go see your
what's going
dad.
on.
Yes, please. I'm worried about him now after talking to you. And you head straight over to the mud hole, as
To
it
the
is
mud
referred
hole.
to, the Mud Hollow Arena. Right next to the mud hole is Sal Shattersmith's gladiatorium, where he does his smithing work and maintains all the gear and also trains the gladiators, the young school. And you come running up, half expecting to find the place like broken into, and the Sal's
Assassins.
missing.
Yeah.
And you come in, and Sal is there working at the forge, and he's like, "Bing, bing, bing, bing." Rugna,
Oh, thank goodness, Sal. I was so glad you're okay. Did you get my
great to
message?
see ya. Great to see ya. Pat on like the knee because you're so tall.
Hey, Tom's here. We got him.
You got the message to her. Good. There's this package for you. He just kind of jerks a thumb, and there's like towards like one side of the smithy, and there's just like a box sitting on an anvil with your name on it.
I sense a until next time, and so I will go open it.
You open it, and inside are 2 pieces of a broken black steel sword with runes engraved on every square inch of it.
Huh.
And when you first see it, you feel like a wave of cold coming off of it. And that, and there's a letter. And of course, that is where we will leave it.
that.
Which
Excellent.
letter is it?
Cue the weird
Today's
one.
stream brought to you by the
The
letter.
letter Q for
Yep.
Quaggle.
Yep. Letter Q for Quaggle. Yay.
Yay.
Excellent. Everybody gets a hero point
Woo!
Yay!
because the adventure is over.
I can update that.
And I think I'm going to give everyone. We're damn near. We just got a whole bunch more bits. And I think it's probably enough. We're going to roll you guys over. So everyone's going to get 1 inspiration, but I'm also going to give everyone another one for
Yay.
a wonderful resolution to our first adventure, which admittedly was kind of an over-the-top adventure to establish a whole lot of setting stuff. The next adventure is not likely to be as high stakes, but
will be
that
fun.
is all good. You got to have
Excellent.
the big ones and the little ones.
Well, that's chapter 1 complete.
Indeed.
Yeah, obviously we go up 5 levels, correct?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, however, I'm glad you reminded me, because what I am going to do is give everybody stuff. So for the audience, because you may not be aware, I'm actually running XP-less game. I started everybody at a fairly high level. We're all level 7, or I don't have any levels, I'm the DM. But you guys are all level 7 because I wanted you to have lots of stuff. And rather than give you more levels, you will have the option to gain more things. So what I want from you guys is pitches,
Ooh.
because the things that you can gain have a lot of options. Hit points is an option. I don't want to be giving you guys hit points every single time we level up, because then it gets out of control for a while, but it can be very relevant. So Ugna, for example, did an awful lot of fighting in this game, took an awful lot of damage. It would make very good sense if Ugna was to gain a hit die. On the other hand, you might think there's a feat that would be very appropriate for your character to have gained. Spell levels are a plausible thing on the table, new spell knowledge. Basically all the things that you get with levels, but we're going to make them more specific and appropriate.
Cool.
Instead of the general level gains. And we'll deal with that between now and next game. I can announce to the audience that we are going to be getting another guest star in the near future. Probably not next game, probably the one after. I have to confirm dates. But our next game, our next guest appearance is going to be John Kovalik. He does the comic
I
Dork
forgot.
Tower. Yeah. John has John has checked out our stream and is super into it, and we're gonna sit down and do a character sometime in the next week or two. So everyone can look forward to that. I'll mention one more time the Discord, although we'll probably just post another link to the Discord when we do the YouTube, when we post the YouTube videos. Because unfortunately, we can't have a permanent link to the Discord. We just put up an invite, and it lasts for like 6 hours. So we'll probably tweet that out if anybody wants. And maybe right now I'll put one up just for anyone who's in there right now who wants to join the Discord for the game community. And in the meantime, why don't we have our shout outs? If there's anything anybody has going on that you want to plug on the stream here.
I was going to shout out. So our shadow DM is not here running the polls today because he is reportedly outrunning polls in real life because it's early voting for the Canadian federal election. And with COVID-19 this year and social distancing and all these things, it's actually really, really helpful if you can go vote early, and you can vote early until I believe Monday in all provinces. So if you are in Canada and you are planning to vote and you can vote, A, you should vote, and then B, if you can do early voting, I think that makes a really big difference for everyone in protecting community health. So please do that.
Yay. I will say a big thank you to everybody who backed our just ridiculous Kickstarter for Cautionary Fables and Fairy Tales. It went way further than we ever thought it would go. It was really nice to see so much support for First Nations creators and indie creators generally. Also, I've got another stream tomorrow, 1 p.m. PST on this channel. We're going to be doing another Let Me Tell You About My Character, where we make ridiculous D&D characters. Or you can catch me on Wednesday at twitch.tv/something5e on our weekly other D&D show I'm on called Something Wicked.
Else have any shoutouts?
Thanks you guys for coming and joining our games. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Totally. And for
Yeah.
doing all the cheering. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Those
that
extra
really
inspirations
made me-
really helped.
Yeah, we
Yes.
needed those.
Tell your friends about this podcast.
Mhm.
Or stream.
Live
It's
stream.
not podcast.
Please, feel free to spread the word. Our audience is growing slowly. I just
Yeah.
posted the link. Hopefully people saw it. Okay, there it is.
Cool.
And hopefully, next game, since I will no longer be solo parenting after 3 weeks of it, I will be more awake. I apologize.
I
I just realized something I need to quickly do resolve before we end here. I completely forgot the results of the second poll I was going to do
right.
during the denouement, and I forgot about it.
Uh-oh.
So one last thing during that last little voyage home, and you're all getting off the boat. The chat audience selected another event. So those who probably didn't notice or have forgotten after the end of last game, so some of you players may have forgotten, that when Tromlin teleported himself out of the camp after you guys nabbed Shaylin, the last thing that happened to him before he was able to grab the rope and hang on to the back of the ship was that the Myconids appeared to him out of the mists and gave him a gift.
Oh, right.
And
The
that
beans.
gift was a bag of magic beans.
Yes. I
Yes.
forgot about my beans.
Yeah, you'd forgotten about the beans, and
Oh, yeah.
as you're getting off the boat, as Ugna goes running off, going, "Yeah, come on, Tom, let's go see your dad." You kind of feel a lump in your pocket and are reminded about them, and sort of pull them out and have a look at them, and you're like, "Huh, wonder what these are." It looks like just a bunch of weird, somewhat multicolored,
Weird beans.
like big, like the size of like adzuki beans or lima beans, like big dried beans with strange colors. But you also kind of think to yourself, didn't there used to be more of them? And you, I'll say you've noticed this. You're thinking about them as you're sitting outside or standing outside the forge as Ugna checks out this package, and then you kind of look, you hear as you're thinking that to yourself. Didn't there used to be more of them? You hear like a little hiccup, and you turn and look over your shoulder, and Fetid is the size of the size and shape of a yoga ball, and is
God.
floating off the ground slowly.
You motherfuckers brought
It seemed
inflated
like a good
fetish.
idea at the time, I guess.
You
And so we'll
guys
pick
brought
up with all that next
inflation
time.
fetish into our game. God damn all of you.
What fetishes have we not incorporated
I
yet?
mean, we're just hitting all the bases here.
Yep.
Can we
Yep.
skip
Yeah,
a
so I
few?
can reveal that the poll originally was going to be Fetid eats something that disagrees with him. Is it
amulet.
a clockwork music box, which is going to be an item on the steamship, some magic beans, which was going to be some of the magic beans that Trauma got, or and the poll this time said a magic mushroom, but the original one was going to be Shaylin's amulet. Except
that would
that
have won, I think.
You just did that on your own.
it didn't matter because it happened before I could do the poll.
We made it canon.
Yep.
Sure did.
So good times.
Good job. Good job, everybody.
Kudos, and we'll pick
Well
up
done.
next time.
Also, before
Thank
we
you
go, we
for
need to roll
inflating me.
for the sketch card.
Yep. Right. And do we have the previous sketch card to show off?
Actually,
I know you were putting it together earlier. I don't know if you finished.
Yeah, I'm just not sure if I can show it off, but let me see how this goes. While you're rolling there, I will try and pull it up.
Excellent. What am I rolling? What dice am I rolling? So we're rolling for the new draw for subscribers.
A
I will.
D16?
Yep. So D20 with, and just ignore everything above 16. So just a quick shout out on the stream. If you are a subscriber to the stream, not only do you get to watch without ads and support the stream, but you also get to be included in the special subscriber only channel on Discord, and you get to be included in the regular draw for a sketch card where all of our wonderful artists throw together a sketch that gets put together into a unique sketch card. So I've rolled number 4, Alina. Can you tell me who on the chart that is?
I'm going to pull up the sketch card from last time. And then I will look at the chart. That is Keikun 393.
Yay! Is Keikun393 here in the chat? If you are, let us know, because you can contact Alina to get your sketch card. And if I'm just double checking the members because that person might be in the Discord already.
Oh, right.
Which would make it very easy to
send it to
contact
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are a card or two behind, and I believe that this particular card that I've got up here right now is for Gophersaurus.
Yes. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, that person is not currently in the Yay. Excellent. That is some hot sketching.
Yup.
And so that one is for, sorry, who was that one for?
This one's for Keikun 3, or the one that's up on the screen?
Yeah.
That one is for Gopher.
Yay. Gophersaurus, that's your sketch card. You're going to be contacted about that. And then Keikun numbers. I forgot the numbers. If you are, yeah, Keikun393, if you're checking this out on the VOD, if you're on the stream right now, contact Alina at, it's your WereGeek one?
Yep.
WereGeekComic@gmail.com. So you can be receiving your sketch card.
Sweet. All right, everybody.
And with that,
thanks for the cool
I think
stream.
that is all the business.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for coming.
First chapter.
Thank you for the inspiration. Thank you for being a wonderful audience.
Appreciate it.
We will see you next time. Same
Bye.
Bye.
same trash time, same trash channel.